History, diversity, surrounded by swamps, haunted by ghosts, plagued by disease, devastated by hurricanes, where Catholicism meets voodoo, where jazz was born. Welcome to New Orleans, a city that has shown pride and resilience throughout its history. I will be taking you on a journey through this unique city and beyond, exploring everything it has to offer. The oldest part of New Orleans is the French Quarter, which was, of course, founded by the French. The French government promoted New Orleans as a prosperous city full of gold in the mountains, which was obviously not true. The French settlers and their French-speaking slaves who came to live in New Orleans were known as the Creoles. Unfortunately, the French fought on the wrong side of the French and Indian War and ended up losing their colony to Spain. There were a couple of fires which pretty much burned down the whole city, and that's why the French Quarter is dominated by Spanish colonial architecture. Later, as immigrants moved in from all over Europe, the residents of the French Quarter were mostly Sicilians. In fact, the district was known as Little Palermo, after the Sicilian capital. Deadly diseases were widespread, often wiping out entire families in a matter of days. As New Orleans was built on a swamp, it wasn't possible to bury the corpses, so they were stacked together on the streets of the French Quarter. I don't think anyone would have wanted to live here. Today, though, it is the most popular part of town with great hotels and restaurants, and some of the best nightlife in the world. The French Quarter also has a history of voodoo. It's not evil at all. It's just a religion brought by slaves from West Africa. Jackson Square was the first point of settlement. Today, it is a bustling plaza where people gather to enjoy parades and street music. Rising over the square is the iconic St. Louie Church. In New Orleans, parades never end. I was lucky enough to have witnessed a parade on Jackson Square, although I have no idea what it's about. By the way, guys, this is the Mississippi River. The French founders of the city used it to get to New Orleans, and today it is a major shipping route. And this is one of those iconic streetcars of New Orleans. The French Quarter is home to an abundance of antique stores, selling some really nice stuff ranging from 20th century slot machines to ancient carvings over 2,000 years old. The quality of these antiques really blew my mind away, and it's totally worth having a look. I toured a factory that makes gas lamps, which are found all over the city. I also did a psychic reading, which was actually pretty accurate.
Please come through with the messages that we most need to hear right now. This is for Willie's highest good. And thank you for allowing me to be a channel and a vessel, because you're growing up in this world and you want to leave something good behind. You know, you want to leave something good behind, and you also want something good for yourself. So this is showing you fight for it.
After the United States bought Louisiana from Spain, wealthy people wanted to move out of the French Quarter, which was quite run down back then. So they founded America's first suburbs, the Garden District. This is where you'll find luxurious mansions dating back to the 19th century, some of which are the homes of celebrities. This is where I would live if I were to settle in New Orleans. This is Commander's Palace, one of the most sought-after restaurants in New Orleans. The Lafayette Cemetery is filled with tombs where corpses are stored above ground, because, as I mentioned earlier, it's impossible to bury them underground. New Orleans is one of America's most delicious cities. Café du Monde is famous for its beignets, a mouth-watering pastry introduced by the French. The praline is a type of New Orleanian candy. It is made by mixing milk, cream, and pecans. My favorite dish is probably the shrimp etouffee. It's so freaking good. And nothing beats banana foster at the grand finale. The next morning, I visited the National World War II Museum, the largest museum in the world dedicated to World War II. It's enormous. I didn't have time to see it all, but this is honestly one of the best museums out there. You get to see the warplanes and weapons and watch films about the war while walking through its incredible exhibition. I feel like it really gets you immersed into the whole experience of World War II. Wow guys, look at these planes. It's insane. It was amazing. There was like really detailed stuff. Got to see all those planes and it was really worth a visit. I highly recommend you to go there if you come to New Orleans. At night, Bourbon Street is where the tourists go to party. But for a more authentic experience, you gotta go to Frenchman Street to hear some jazz. After all, this is where it all began. In case you didn't know, New Orleans is where jazz was born.
Jazz party here tonight. We're gonna have a jazz party 'cause the mood is right. We're gonna have a jazz party here tonight.
I ventured out of town, driving through the wetlands, towards the Houmas house plantation. This plantation started out as a trading post on the Mississippi River over 200 years ago. It then grew to become America's largest sugar plantation. The mansion has a lavish interior, with antique treasure from around the world. Today, the sugar crops are replaced by one of the most beautiful gardens in the country. I then headed deep into the swamps to explore the typical Louisiana landscape by kayak. The city of New Orleans is basically built on top of the swamps created by the Mississippi River. This wilderness is home to alligators, deers, snakes, rodents, and lots of other wildlife. I even saw some folks going hunting in their boats. The Cajun people of French-Canadian descent traditionally live in these swamps. These trees standing in the water right here are cypress trees. Alright, guys. So guys, New Orleans is known as America's most haunted city, and tonight I'm going to explore the city after dark on a ghost tour. Hopefully I'm going to see some ghosts. There is a dark side to New Orleans. Through its history, countless people have died suffering from deadly diseases or at the hands of other people, or both, resulting in a large population of ghosts haunting the French Quarter. There have been quite a lot of paranormal activity captured, so let me know if you see any ghosts or other stuff like that in these photos. So guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I know you're probably going like, come on, I want to see more of your awesome videos. But I've done my best to cover every element of this incredible city, and if you enjoyed it, please support it by giving me a like. Okay, do it now, give me a like. Alright, and subscribe. Yeah, go ahead. And share this video with your friends. Nope, you didn't do that. I'm waiting. There you go. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.